Well, I'll be. It is a momentous occasion indeed. August the 16th of the year 2026. Good evening. Welcome to the channel. Not sure where this is going to go, but I'm game. Before I head up to the tent for the night, go to sleep. This week I embark upon a very exciting and long prepared for challenging time in my life. And I'm going to document the entire thing on my YouTube channel. Praise Abba. Things seem to be working excellently, and I am going to share with my audience the process I'm going through, which is called Reclaim Your Securities. This is a group of individuals that hosted a Yahoo group that started in 2012, I think around June or July, based on the recordings that they give you access to when you buy their package. And they cracked the matrix. I'm convinced of it. I think this is gonna. No, I know what. I know this is going to work because it's their law that we're using. They have to basically admit that they're criminals. Well, they are, but anyway, I digress. I think I'm allowed to share with you this document. Um, it is available on their website, and I'll show you where that is. RestoreTheKingdomofGod.blogspot.com. And these gentlemen, well, this gentleman that maintains the page, he's not alone, but he got a hold of the gentleman that wrote this document here, the Uniform Securitization Scheme. And this person mentored him with information that had been shared with him by a retired IRS employee about how to access your. I mean, I know it sounds kind of conspiratorial when you say it like this, but it really does boil down to this. The Treasury, they are our bank. This document kind of explains a little bit about that in the opening remarks, um, where it talks about, yeah, organized commercial theft, applying ancient edifices of commercial sleight of hand, such as legal fiction, certification, registration, and securitization to achieve outcomes which would otherwise be impossible and certainly repugnant to the founders. Translation: the machines harness the people's commercial energy through a matrix of scripted distractions and diversions wherein fraud, falsehood, and fallacy supplant the law until amnesia has become endemic. Boy, that's a fact. It's like yeah, amnesia, you don't remember anything. It's wow. Anyway, the system is known as the legal system. It's a profit inspired veneer for the universal system of voodoo accounting. I love the way, well, he's actually said that. No, wait, he borrowed that from Clinton, right? Yeah, was it voodoo economics? Oh, voodoo economics. That was it. That's right. Accounting explained in this article. The uniform securitization scheme. By the way, this document, I'll link it in the show notes. I think I can. Um, you can get this from their website. It's one of the first things I read. Yeah, there it is. Right there, boom. So it's, yeah, I'm not breaking any law here by sharing this with you. I went through all this information when I was interested in finding out how to pay. There's how you do it. And I went through every single bit of this information, and of course, lastly, reading this document. And this document will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Because all of a sudden you can understand why they always want you to sign something everywhere. You always got to sign for something. This document's going to explain to you why that is. But to understand the Uniform Securities Scheme is to understand the commercial world around you and the banks, government agencies, and courts which seek to control your life. The author has no objection if a copy of this article is sent to every judge trust on the federal and state bench and every political prisoner in America. I wish I had read this before I went in and tried to argue a traffic ticket in Taos, New Mexico, and you know, little did I know that I was walking into a trap, and I spent 16 days in jail, and I learned now that was my mistake. There is no reason, when you understand how this thing works, to go in to their courtrooms. They're not courts. They're administrative tribunals. There are no courts in America. You can convene a court of equity in a federal district court. It's likely going to happen in chambers. That's where I hope my case is going to happen. And guess what? Y'all are going to see it firsthand. I'm going to document the entire process on my YouTube channel as I go through this. So basically, oh, this is a great one too. Let's go here. The ancient system of pledging. If I can get it bigger. No, doesn't look like I can. There we go. Can I get rid of that though? Apparently not. Okay, so maybe it's just the way they have this thing set up. You read one line at a time. There we go. Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property. The word register is Latin for the king's list. Regius, terra, as in terracotta, surface, kings. Yeah, anyway. In a national system designed to keep track of the people that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda. How's that? Through pledging. That's how they end up compelling us to submit to their agenda, because they've got a pledge of something. And if you don't know what that pledge is and how it happened, you think you owe them some fealty and some loyalty. You don't. They're nothing. Not even a lawful government. They're only a corporation. It's crazy. Anyway, but I digress. I apologize. What are we up to? Almost 10 minutes. Okay, I'm doing all right. I'm not sure where this is going. I'm just trusting the Ruach. Anyway, every American will be forced. Oh, sorry, I missed an important line. Submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a chargeback for our fiat paper currency. So the pledging system is going to give them security in the form of a chargeback of the fiat paper currency. Interesting. Every American will be forced to register or suffer being unable to work and earn a living, because they'll control the flow of money by paper through your pledge. That's how they'll control you. Paper items. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interest over them forever. by operation of the law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. There it is, people. Securities. He gets to it. This is by the way, Edward Mandell House, advisor to President Woodrow Wilson, who was the Dingleberry president that signed the Federal Reserve Act into law under the dead of night on Christmas Eve in the year 1913. That was the Aldrich Bill, that creature from Jekyll Island. The billionaires themselves, the bankers, wrote the banking legislation that they would implement, and that led to the Depression, 1933, where they took away all of our gold. Then they brought in a pure system of nothing but securities, which is what they talk about. And what they don't want you to know, and what this class will teach you, reclaim your securities. Oh, I can't show you that, sorry. Is that all those securities you signed, whether it was a job application, whether it was a credit card application, a lease application, a rental, a vehicle rental, a credit card application even, and certainly traffic tickets and any paperwork that the clerk has you sign when you so willingly and dutifully show up and give them a general appearance, which is a banker's acceptance, and they can then process all those securities and make money off of your treasury account without your knowledge or consent, and then they're going to charge you money out of your checkbook on top of that. These people are criminals. Anyway, Americans, by unknowingly and unwittingly delivering the bills of lading, look up that terminology in admiralty law. That's a birth certificate. It's a document of the transfer of cargo. Your birth certificate is a bill of lading. It documents the delivery of cargo, human cargo. Babylon, dealing in the souls of men and women. Bills of lading to us, and it will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, because basically what they did was you traded your birthright for fiat currency. They owed you equity. Equity is substance, gold, silver, land, the things you need, you really need to move in the world, not be a slave. And by that, you will forever remain their slave through taxation secured by their pledges. We do it to ourselves. And this course teaches you how, and I'm showing you, I'm going to show you just the opening page. There's no information. This is the 321 page document they give you. It's all meat too, and it's not as intimidating. It's highlighted, edited, and you get to know who's to read, who to give credence to, and who are just people chiming in, asking questions. And the meat of it is usually highlighted or in all capitals or bold. The group began in June 2012 and ended in 2013. And basically, they have all the Zoom recordings as well. I didn't find them to be as helpful as just reading this document. There's two of them. There's one that's 321 pages and one that's 541 pages. I made it through that one. And now I'm more than halfway through this one, and I'm ready to move. This is Remedy. This is it. BC scam. That's a great article too. Same one I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, my bad. I was confusing it with the one with the terminal health issue, which is also pretty good too. I have a copy of that. Anyway, he says here, oh, this is great. This is good stuff. Listen to this. This is just like bombshell stuff. Every American should read this. Check this out. They will be stripped of their rights. Why? Because you basically traded your birthright in exchange for benefits and privileges issued by your government, make you work for a living to earn and buy what you were born into the planet with an entitlement and a right to: land, home, tools, vehicles, you name it. They took it all away. They took away your rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser. For not one man in a million could ever figure our plans. And if by accident one or two should figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. And they also didn't count on this thing called the internet. I don't think these powers that shouldn't be had any idea there would be a thing called the internet where people could share information, study, research, and by process of just sheer, talk about the power of AI. Imagine 1,000 souls all over the country, all over the world. Actually, this group is in every major, or every Eastern country with a so-called democratic government, because they're all the same corporation to make money. It's one big corporation. Excuse me. It's one big corporation. Anyway, so they didn't think they'd be found out. After all, they go on to say, this is the only logical way to fund government. So what's the reason they do the certificate of birth? To create a security that becomes a foundation security to fund all other securities to fund government. How to do it? By floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will inevitably reap to us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. They had not yet written the legislation, so they didn't know it was going to be called Social Security. And I think maybe now that I think about it, it has nothing to do with security in terms of tranquility or safety as you're older and you want to be taken care of. That's not what the word social in Social Security is. It's literally securities. That's what this whole thing is riding on. And that's how they make money. It's all debt. It all rides on securities, and you own them all. That's right, America. That's right, brothers and sisters. Every document you ever signed, a security, is your property. And this course is about reclaiming those securities. Make sense? They can't give you what they owed you because they took it from you. They took your inheritance, your piece of America. Imagine America, a big piece of pizza pie, right? We all get a little piece. They took your piece of the pie, and they leveraged it, and they quantified it, and they securitized it, and they hypothecated debt against it, and then they took the stolen loot that they stole from you and sold it back to you as your wages. How about that, America? How about that? And obviously they got rich. In this manner, every American will unknowingly be our servant. However, begrudgingly, the people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office of the president of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America. And I'm going to end it there because I'm going to be at just under 20 minutes. This is a man called Gavar. Please support my efforts to launch the Giving Garden. More information in the bio. Please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned as I document how I reclaim my securities and peacefully take back dominion to help restore the kingdom of Yahuwah. Amen.